Have you ever thought about starting your own business but felt paralyzed by the fear of failure? What if I told you that one of the greatest inventors in history failed over 1,000 times before finally achieving success? Thomas Edison didn't just invent the electric light bulb. He also left one of the most valuable lessons for any entrepreneur. Failure is not the end, it's part of the process. If you want to build your own business but are afraid of making mistakes, this video is for you. Today, we're going to explore Edison's mindset and how you can apply it to your own entrepreneurial journey. But before we continue, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any content that can transform your future as an entrepreneur. Who was Thomas Edison and his quest for the electric light bulb? Thomas Edison was an inventor and entrepreneur who revolutionized technology with his creations. Born in 1847 in the United States, he stood out for developing inventions that profoundly impacted society, such as the phonograph and the incandescent light bulb. However, contrary to what many believe, Edison was not the first to create an electric light bulb. Before him, other inventors had already developed incandescent light bulb models, such as the British scientist Joseph Swan, who, in 1860, introduced a carbon filament lamp. The problem with these early versions was that the filament burned out quickly, making the light bulb impractical for continuous use. Edison's greatest achievement was his ability to refine this technology. Determined to create a commercially viable electric light bulb, he and his team tested hundreds of different materials to find the ideal one. Initially, they used carbonized paper filaments, but they were fragile and had little durability. After multiple attempts, in 1880, they discovered that a carbonized bamboo filament was much more resistant and could keep the light bulb glowing for up to 1,200 hours. That was Edison's true triumph. He didn't just create a functional light bulb. He transformed an experimental concept into a practical innovation, capable of illuminating entire cities. His work wasn't about a single discovery but about persistence, experimentation, and continuous improvement. Did you know that before finalizing the light bulb, Edison and his team conducted hundreds of tests, experimenting with different filament materials until they found a truly efficient solution? This story proves that in entrepreneurship, success doesn't come from avoiding mistakes but from learning from every failure and pushing forward. Thomas Edison's genius and resilience didn't appear out of nowhere. From a young age, he demonstrated an insatiable curiosity and a strong interest in scientific discoveries. However, his journey began far from laboratories. Edison struggled in school. His restless and inquisitive nature didn't fit into the traditional education model of the time, leading his teachers to believe he had learning difficulties. Recognizing his potential, his mother decided to educate him at home, allowing him to learn at his own pace and explore his interests freely. As a teenager, he started working by selling newspapers and candy on trains. But instead of just selling, Edison saw an opportunity to innovate. He created his own newspaper and began printing it inside the train car, something unheard of at the time. This entrepreneurial mindset already showed that he wasn't content with simply following rules. He wanted to create new possibilities. It was during this period that he began conducting his first scientific experiments. At just 12 years old, he set up a small laboratory inside the train car where he worked. However, his thirst for knowledge and constant experimentation eventually led to problems. In one of his attempts, a chemical experiment caused a fire on the train, and he was banned from continuing his research there. Despite the obstacles, Edison never gave up. His desire to innovate only grew stronger. At 16, he started working as a telegraph operator, and during the late hours, he continued running his experiments. He wanted to understand electricity better, knowledge that, years later, would be essential for his greatest achievement, the creation of a commercially viable incandescent light bulb. Edison's persistence was tested when he and his team began developing the electric light bulb. They failed hundreds of times, testing materials, adjusting components, and refining every detail until they finally found the right solution. Now, think about this. What if it were you? Would you have given up after so many frustrating attempts? In both entrepreneurship and science, Success doesn't exist without challenges. Those who fear failure never take the first step. But those who understand that every failure is a lesson become stronger and better prepared for future attempts. So, what's your mindset when facing challenges? Do you see mistakes as barriers or as opportunities for growth? Thomas Edison's journey to success was filled with challenges, but as we've seen, he never gave up. With every failure, he saw a new opportunity to learn. But what truly set him apart was his mindset about failure. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." This quote perfectly sums up the difference between those who achieve great things and those who give up along the way. In entrepreneurship, the fear of failure can be one of the biggest obstacles to growth. Many people hesitate to take the first step because they are afraid of failing. Others start but quit at the first sign of difficulty. Edison proved that failure is part of the process. If he had given up after his first attempts, the electric light bulb as we know it today might never have been developed. The same applies to business. No successful entrepreneur has built something great without facing challenges, making mistakes, and adjusting course multiple times. The real problem isn't failing. The real problem is not learning from mistakes and allowing fear to hold us back. Every attempt that doesn't work teaches us something new. Every adjustment brings us closer to our goal. Now, let me ask you, when was the last time you failed? What did you learn from it? Share your answer in the comments. Your experience might inspire others to overcome their fears and keep moving forward. If failure is part of the path to success, how can we change the way we deal with it? We've seen that the fear of making mistakes can be the biggest obstacle for those who want to grow. But the good news is that there are strategies to overcome this fear and move forward with more confidence. Thomas Edison didn't see mistakes as defeats, but as steps toward learning. And this is the first key strategy for handling failure. 1. Reframe failure. See it as learning, not defeat. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up often lies in how they perceive obstacles. When something goes wrong, instead of thinking, "I failed," ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Every mistake provides valuable insights on what can be improved. 2. Persist with adjustments. Every mistake brings you closer to the solution. Edison's biggest strength wasn't just his genius but his ability to adapt. He tested, failed, learned, and adjusted until he found the ideal solution. In entrepreneurship, it works the same way. Your first product, strategy, or idea may not be perfect. But with constant adjustments, each attempt gets better than the last. 3. Create an environment of experimentation. Test without fear of judgment. If Edison had been afraid of failing or being criticized, he never would have created the electric light bulb. Many entrepreneurs hold back their ideas out of fear of what others will think. But great innovations happen when there is room to test, experiment, and take risks. Build an environment where mistakes are seen as part of the process, not a reason to give up. Overcoming the fear of failure doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes again. It means you'll be better prepared to learn from them and move forward with even greater strength. Now, I challenge you to reflect. What decision have you been postponing out of fear of failing? What is stopping you from taking the next step? Leave your answer in the comments and share this reflection. After all, those who learn to overcome the fear of failure are already one step closer to success. Throughout this story, we've seen that failure is not the end. It's a necessary step toward success. Edison showed us that it doesn't matter how many times something goes wrong. What truly matters is how we choose to respond to these moments. Success doesn't come from the absence of failure, but from how we deal with it. While many give up in the face of difficulties, those who learn from their mistakes and keep trying are the ones who truly achieve great things. If this video has helped you in any way, share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Sometimes, a simple change in perspective can transform the journey of someone trying to build something new. And to close, Here's one of the most inspiring quotes from Thomas Edison. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What stood out the most for you in this video? Leave a comment and join the conversation. See you in the next video.